Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for another Power Book 3 Raising Kanan recap as we dive into episode 9 of season 2. This episode is titled Antitrust. Got a lot to get into tonight's episode. But to kind of throw it to you pretty early in this one, what was your overall assessment about this episode? I thought last episode gave us a very lot. This one kind of shift gears a little bit for me here. Not to say that I liked it more or less, but like I feel like the build of this season, especially with that really interesting break we had, has been a little bit interesting, I'd say. So what's your thoughts about episode 9 as I assume we get ready for the finale next week?
I mean, this is the typical Power 9 episode where all action is in episode 8. So you get to episode 9, it's more story driven. So you get the beginning of the wrap ups of things where we get the Cartier conclusion in a way. We get the setups of possibly a unique turn. Like what episodes 9 to do with Power is set up not only episode 10, but it kind of sets up what you should expect in the upcoming third season, even more than episode 10 do. Episode 10 tends to be the explosive one that leaves you wanting more, but it's episode 9 that gives you the threads that lead into the third season the most. And here we see a lot of them, like Marvin getting soft, which is something that just, man, didn't see that coming. we see Lou come back in the fold here. We see Famous letting a bad situation turn into a horrible decision.
Reverse. Horrible decision, bad situation. Yeah, well, either way it works, actually.
Yeah. And then we see the whole situation between Kanan and Howard, and even Juke giving her 2 cents, which is something that we've been waiting for someone to bring up. Like, wait a minute, this happened. Your mom had to be like 16. But it leads another thread out there that, again, possibly won't get answered in the last episode, but possibly will get answered in season 3 as just the way that Power tends to normally do things. Like, they give you so much stuff in episode 9 to wrap up or get into other people's storylines to lead into the third season. The episode 10 may just focus on Rock.
Yeah. So first of all, shout out to Omar Dorsey we had on the show earlier this season. Cartier was a character that I wasn't instantly sold that he was going to be around the entire time. You know, his sort of introduction was kind of like, okay, interesting character. He fits the aesthetic of this time period. He's going to sort of give additional perspective for the build of Rock, and we start to see him become a figure, and then we start to see a little bit of a lust for her in terms of her using him more as a tactic on the chessboard, somebody that she learned from to step over ultimately, and they had a really good scene. But overall, Omar, I thought that the lines that they gave Cartier, especially the ending lines of his final moments, which was also, I like when you talk about power moments here, like that elevator ride is so, I feel like it's one of the most iconic things within the Power universe. That
like Jason was ending up on the elevator and just never ride an elevator in Power. Just never do it.
Never. That's exactly it. He said, fuck you and your family. And that was the last we got of Cartier, who is not, well, let's talk about that. Let's do something we usually don't do. Let's talk about the end real quick, folks, and then we'll jump back to begin. I know sometimes y'all don't like that, but I think there's a lot to kind of make with this ending. Yes, we have a death, but I think there is a lot of implications to this. The first thing being the implication of, well, what was the relationship between Cartier and Rock? We'll bring Lou in a second, but Cartier and Rock were, Rock was trying to really under the table learn from him, and once she started to
all the information possible,
absolutely complete leech. I mean, it went from one point where she was kind of like optimistic, like, oh, he's a boss, I respect him, and it's like, oh, cool, that's an interesting way of a solution that she had, which do we have that issue anymore? I mean, we haven't seen her at the bodega since It's not a bodega, it's a corner store. But we haven't seen her then
It's
since
the
she
same
met
thing,
Cartier.
ain't it? Wait a minute. It's the same thing.
Listen.
Who told you it was different? Corner stores in New York are bodegas.
Listen, all I know is that there's no animal in that one, and there's no sandwiches being sold. So I just thought it was a corner store. But don't listen. Don't get a target on our back, bro.
Oh, you don't know. She may have had a chopped cheese in the back. You just don't know. They just didn't show it.
But she hasn't had to go to Juliana since. So, like, obviously, this is the issue that she had with the money and cleaning the money, or like having a means of the money becoming legitimate money, was solved by what she learned from Cartier. She learned so much from Cartier to the point that she said, so I can be better at this than Cartier. And Cartier only cared about trying to hit. I don't care what he was trying to say. I don't pay for it, baby. Maybe he don't. But he was willing to risk it all for her. And to the point that, like, he jeopardized his whole operation because he had told her so much information with no leverage. To the point that this was finally the episode where he tried to get some leverage. You're like, all right, baby, how about that 50% inside your business? Let me invest. And this was a brilliant scene. And why the scene was brilliant is because for anybody who don't watch recaps, you know, who don't watch us, I don't know why, but if you are watching us or it's the first time you're watching us, make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification key. We here all day, all night, all power stuff. But listen, the things that was important was said by Rock. Number one, she established what we've been saying, that Cartier was completely on her ass. That's what he wanted. And she knew it. And she knew she could play that card. Because when she met up with, what's his name earlier, the court, she had already knew she had something up on him. It had nothing to do with business. It had nothing to do. It was her. It was just strictly her. And she knew it. So she get in and like, listen, you're going to have to wait. I know you don't wait, but you have to wait till when I'm ready. You know, she already knew. That's all the power she needed right there. But then she learned so much. She learned about his troops, learned about his expansion, everything that she wanted.
Oh, her everything, Joe.
And then the moment that he does try to create some leverage, it was too late because she had already had everything she needed at that point. And Lou, I'm gonna let you get in here now. At that point, and I would love to know what was your reaction when you heard him introduce about being partners. Oh, last thing I want to say too, to the other part about when we were saying that, like, oh, my man was a businessman, and then he just became loose lips. Because then he just started to brag and da-da-da-da-da. And that's where she called him in like, oh, is that just something you say? Or are you really about that? When you was talking about your folks respecting you. So now you get to where he's like, oh, I thought you said this area was too oversaturated. Now you're trying to buy in? That's your second strike. And that strike should have never happened because that first one also shouldn't have happened as well, too. So I think her mind was completely made up at this point.
Oh, but the first one was a setup.
Go ahead, talk.
If go back and think about it, the first time when Rock said to him, oh, I thought you said disloyalty wasn't honored. Just think about when your woman is mad at you and she's like, oh, you let your homeboy talk to you like that? It's to build that wedge. I need to drive a wedge between you two. She drove a wedge between him and his top earner.
Yeah.
And when she drove that wedge, she quickly inserted herself directly in between them two. Yeah. Because she understood, if I get rid of him, I need to still have his operation.
Yep.
So if I can show this dude that I can give you everything you need, you'll be good with me.
Yeah.
And she went in and did that. So by the time Cartier even approaches her about a partnership, she was already going to kill him. It was too late at that point. You had given her the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Because again, when you feel you are untouchable, it's the number one rule in that business. When you feel that you're untouchable, that's when you get touched. Yeah. No such thing as being untouchable. He talked too big of a game. And he talked that game too much. You know, again, a Lil Wayne quote, real G's move in silence like lasagna. It's a reason why you don't open your mouth. You don't speak about your business. That's my business. Yeah. You don't need to know anything about what I do. You don't need to know how I get my money. You don't need to know how my organization runs. Cartier is typical of the dude in the 90s looking for a bad chick. He up there telling her everything. And
Yeah.
the whole time, as we talked about it before, when Rock was sitting at the table, all she was doing was peeping his game and his organization. That was her whole end game. He was falling in love, and she was learning his business.
See, I just slightly disagree in this being her end game, because I feel like she did have a certain objective, and I think she would have bowed out. But then she realized like how big of a pillow talker he is. Essentially, she was like, "Oh, I'll stick around for the ride." And
See, I think this was always her end game.
you think that she always suspected that he was just going to just tell it all? Because Rock ain't a woman who sells herself on looks. Because, you know,
She doesn't sell herself on looks, but Rock is a woman who reads dudes pretty well.
I think so. I mean, obviously got two brothers, so this is.
And in all honesty, any woman to tell you, the dudes who gonna talk all the time. Like, and it ain't like I gotta wait for you to do it. I know exactly what you're gonna do. From the moment he met her, he started talking.
But see,
he felt like he had to impress her. So the moment you get a vibe that this dude feels like got to impress you, oh, you're gonna tell me everything I need to know.
Yeah, it's completely the difference between her and Unique, her and Sal. You know, this is the dynamics of like, and again, all of them think Rock is attractive. Unique goes after everybody. Sal clearly loves her, and then this guy just happens to be the boss, but the loudest person in the room, talking the most, and obviously, so.
From the moment he met her, he couldn't stop talking. Go back to the moment they were in a record studio, and the way he introduced herself, and she said, "I already know who you are." It all started from that encounter because it was just, she felt what he felt, and she was like, "Oh, let's see what I can get out of you."
Yeah.
And then you busy telling me your whole business, your whole power structure. Then you bring the people around me. Wouldn't it be? Who does that? I'm not bringing you around my business. Nah.
Yeah. No doubt. I don't know what his game is. We'll talk more about him as we get through the weaves of this. Folks, the full disclaimer: we're definitely not going to go in complete order of everything, especially with the stuff with Sam, because they had like Sam one scene, something small, then Sam again. It's like, let's just try to compile Sam stuff as much as we can.
Also, before we close out the Cartier stuff, he literally helped bring Rock and Lou back together again.
I did not see that coming. That's why I wanted to talk about that at the end.
And it started just because of the way he approached Lou when Lou wanted to help Famous.
That's so silly.
You saw the look on Lou's face when he said, "I thought you was a silent partner."
Yeah.
And the way he reacted to Lou when Lou said that.
Do you think he tells Cartier? Do you think Lou tells Rock about Cartier buying into the business at all?
No, because he still didn't tell her about. He still didn't tell her about Crown.
That's true. even though she knows.
Even though she knows, he did not tell her about Crown.
Unless he spins it and say Cartier did it, which isn't so far-fetched.
But here's the problem, though. How the fuck would Rock care?
Yeah, she wouldn't care. She just want to know. Rock is a person who want to know things but don't actually care to know it. She forever gets useless information. Like, oh, okay.
No, it's the same thing she told Kanan. No secrets.
Yeah.
But mine.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that can have secrets here. No one else can have secrets. But again, as Cartier said, like, you two don't even like each other. Again, he completely forgot the key part, and that's why when Rock said, "But we family." We don't always have to get along. We don't always have to like each other. But we don't like you.
They haven't got along for now 9 episodes. This is the first episode that they got. And if you want to demon as them getting along,
I'm about to say, you talk about 9. Go back to season 1 when Lou missed the shot. They got along for about 14 to 15 episodes. But it's the point that we still family. Like, no, in the end, no matter what, we got each other's back. Yeah, and you are an obstacle we need to get rid of.
So let's get to the top of the episode, go through some things. Like I said, we're going to kind of compile some scenes together because it was, for whatever reason, chopping one scene and then a little part and then a bigger part of the scene previous. Let's just put it all together. But in the beginning,
like a crackhead watching this with Sam.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot. It definitely was a lot. So we start back up at the bowling alley with the Italians, and everybody's having a good time. 50 narrating some truths about like, although they're having a good time, killers still are pretty empty inside and so on. I don't get the part of the narration. I know there's some truth to it, but I don't know why I needed to know this right now, because as far as
Killers
I'm
are
concerned,
empty inside.
sort of say whatever the terminology that he used, but it makes it seem like,
yeah.
yeah, but like I didn't understand the relevance of it. Like, we know that people who kill people, I mean, we've seen it with Lou. So I mean, how much more do we need to hear this, But anyway, Lou back in the streets is where we're gonna start off at, because Lou does kill Jimmy immediately after he wins his bowling game with his brodies, as he hits a turkey at the end. I mean, he's having a hell of a night. Pretty sad, man, because when you get the turkey, nobody can't touch you, bro. But
the highs and the lows of life.
Exactly. Life comes at you really fast here. But Lou's back in the streets, and Lou kills Jimmy, which not only is it important that Lou was so willing to get back in the streets, but in case you didn't know, I mean, he told you later. He said, listen, somebody take a shot at my brother, I'm out here.
Yeah.
Example number 2 of, we may not always get along, but we family. I may not want to catch a body, but if you shoot at my brother, I'm out here. You know what I mean? I am interested if there's any discrepancies in this. Has anybody in their family got shot at and somebody didn't retaliate? Has that been a thing? I don't think so.
Lou?
I don't think so.
Didn't Unique try to kill Lou?
Oh, but Rock squashed it. That was the thing. That was the thing, because it was just like, well, why? But that was the laws of power thing. So
yeah. I'm about to say, Rock tried to kill Lou. I mean, not Rock tried to kill Lou, but Unique tried to kill Lou.
Yeah, that's right. Interesting. Anywho, so Marvin is alive. Renee is dead. Obviously,
that coming.
Yeah, and for the folks who commented on our review last week, we don't get to see the previews for the next week, but somebody did chime in, was like, oh, well, no one looks sad, so I guess it's not Marvin. Okay, well, there you go. So Marvin's alive and Renee isn't. But Marvin is
front and center. A single trailer for an episode.
I know, right? But Marvin's front and center with his glasses. So he doesn't know if he cried or not, because he had glasses on. That's his only joke in this entire episode. But and it didn't. I don't think this was an episode that Marvin needed to be so comedic.
No,
I think it tells a lot about the character, but again, it tells you a lot about the actor. Like, again, he doesn't always got to be the comedic relief. He can be serious when he needs to. He can have heart. He can't be that person that shows compassion that you just feel for, because that's a lot of what this episode was. And decision making and empathy, sort of say, and some maybe even have kind of throwing retaliation in there, but there's a lot of different very humane qualities in this episode. And I think Marvin is a prime example of that. Like, he lost the girl that he was just getting comfortable with, that had shown him a new like and a new walk of life, that he's learned a lot from, that he's clearly still channeling, and he's not in rage. Guess his group sessions work, and seeing him turn the page here and using the examples and the practices of what he learned into all his day-to-day stuff, I think is like, it's telling about really the development of this character. Hey, by the way, I meant to say, show you this real quick. Forgot I got this. This the new famous Streets Need a Body track right there.
Oh man. Yeah, he got a body though now.
he
got his own song get rhymed, Joe.
You actually do. So Crackhead Sam arrested again. Now, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to compile a lot of this and I'm going to throw it to you. Sam being arrested ain't nothing new. So that's the first thing that threw me off. It was like Sam getting arrested, but for whatever reason, he's so desperate this time. I did not believe that.
He be that desperate?
I did not. Because
crackheads crack away, they get extremely desperate.
Fair. Okay.
Hey, you take crackhead crack away. Listen, they will do you so many to society. I ain't gotta say the line, but you know what he offered to do. Who he needed crack. That man, look.
Yeah.
It made sense for him magically for his mind to become clear.
Speaking of Menace to Society, Don't Be a Menace is literally one of the most funniest movies out there. Because of that same scene. So, but anyway, so now he's in jail. And of course, Burke is somewhere to be around because I'm so confused about how policing works. Like, she's a detective, but now she's down in holdings. Like, what is happening right now? She's just everywhere, I guess, huh? But
the unbelievable part is magically Burke, someone raised by police officers, would then believe a crackhead story and say, I need to follow up on this crackhead story.
Yeah, she's completely desperate and obsessed, and we're gonna have to do the lineup on this episode. I think we didn't do it last week, but we're gonna have to do it this week because we're gonna have to rank who is the most obsessed characters in all of Power.
Well, we already know Sax is number 1.
Sax is definitely number 1.
Greg Knox is still number 2. And Burke is now number 3.
Yeah,
she's number 3 now.
Angela has to be like 4. Yeah.
No, Rodriguez, Blanca. I'm saying that right? Hey, Blanca was super. She been obsessed in 2 different shows. So.
Yeah, but Angela, I don't know. Yeah, because Angela was like, one moment was Tommy, then was Ghost, or just was Ghost, even though she didn't know Ghost was in front of her the entire time.
Yeah, but it ain't the same type of obsession. Like, Angela was obsessed until she found out it was Jamie, and then she was like, nah, we good.
That's right. She did start. Yeah, you're right. Fair enough. But yeah, and then that's the other thing we talked about. Like, first of all, if you already had a statement from him, you're gonna just get another one, and then all of a sudden, when did we start believing crackheads? And like, Detective Howard, even to his own defense, absolutely had the right posture in this, where he was just like what? Like, nah, not him, right? Like, this doesn't make no sense because, like, and even they said when they gave him a witness a roster, my man identified Lee Harvey Oswald, and I was just like, hold on, the killer from the person who killed JFK, like that dude is white. Like, what?
Look here, look, that's what makes no sense. Like, for real, like, we're gonna go, Sam, I need to talk to you now. No, I don't need to talk to you. Matter of fact, it's even worse that when Rock said, we gotta get rid of this nigga, he's becoming a problem. And she said, that nigga Sam. I'm like, wait, he's a crackhead. You can't be a problem for me. You cannot be a problem with me. You know why? Because all it takes, and pardon me for anybody that's gonna get offended here, all it takes, even in the 90s, is a little bit of fentanyl. You're gone. I'm gonna put it right into your crack, or I'm just gonna lace it with something else. I can make you lose your mind. I'm not worrying about no crackhead telling secrets. I'll make it where either you're completely out of your mind or you die. It's gonna be one or the other, but I don't need a hitter to go after a crackhead. And that means Howard would have had to reach out to Rock, because how the Rock would have known that Sam was a threat. Unless Howard said, hey, you gotta do something about this guy.
Yeah, that's interesting that they did not show that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the moment when Howard found out, when he was in the hallway with the other guy, that's immediately when he went to tell Rock. He already put 1 and 2 together. Yep. He did all the calls he needed to do. Letting her know. And obviously, did he tell the police chief? I forgot. There's something else.
Baptiste had already called Eternal Affairs the moment Burke came in, because he was thinking Burke was dealing with Juke and Nicole, so he was already gonna get her no matter what, because he already don't trust her. Yeah. So Baptiste was already ready for Burke's bullshit. But her and the crackhead, that was just between her and Howard. And Howard just knew, like, come on, man. Yeah. I'm just surprised this much attention was paid to a crackhead, and what a crackhead gonna say. A crackhead can bust into my house now and tell me, like, he won $1 million. I'm not believing shit you say. Get your crackhead ass away from me.
I'm mad. They was calling him Sam way too much. I was like, man, this is like a regular character here. Like
he a regular crackhead. Do you know? Like for a police officer, I'm assuming like you got your regulars that you arrest every day. Like you don't want to do too much to them. Like Sam is a neighborhood crackhead. Everybody know who Sam is. Like, you know, Sam sucks a glass dick from time to time. We know who he is. So we're not gonna believe anything he said. That's why they was looking at Burke crazy. Like, why you want to talk to him? Like, what good is he gonna do you? It's Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
Like Cheers. Everybody knows his name, Joe.
Sam just behind bars, just trying to snitch it all out. Any way for him to get back out there.
Man, I was waiting for them to say Sam SEL020. I'm like, oh shit, I know
that Sam. Oh, that's a that if any fan pick up on that one, that's gonna be a funny comment. Just waiting down there for us. That comment's gonna be hilarious. Somebody gonna timestamp it and everything. I'm like, I know who y'all talking about here. But so on the other end, we got Famous struggling to pay his rent. What else is new? Living like a crackhead. What else is new? But you know, his landlord, this regular looking black dude, comes in and just like, listen, you need to pay. Famous is like, payment plan. I have money, I have a payment plan. But he says, if you can find a means for me and my girl to get in the studio, then you know we'll make good. That's the kind of deal that they worked out with Crown. And if you're not, you got 2 days. Now here's my thing about this, because I'll be trying to look into things too deep. If that's the deal that Crown had, then how come we never seen these people before? Why wouldn't Lou know exactly who they are? If you're in the studio with studio time, Lou should know exactly who this is. This is no
Crown had made this deal. What benefit did it come from Crown?
Yeah. I know you didn't think you was gonna get lucrative off of Famous.
Not after the hit single "Streets Need a Body" didn't like perform up the charts well. Like, no. And is this a thing? I mean, as an adult, I've never been in a situation where I lived in this level of project as an adult. So is it just a thing where a random nigga come knocking on your door talking about you got 2 days or you got to get out? Is that normal? I'm asking the audience out there. Y'all would know. Because my first initial thought was, why can't I just harm you instead? Because if you're the only threat to put me out, why not just get rid of you? And the next nigga they send do the same thing until they get the point that maybe you should knock on my door. But like I just find this fascinating. It always happens in New York, and any story in New York at any time frame in New York, they always have niggas just knocking on your door randomly trying to put you out. Like that shit ain't happen in DC, Joe.
Yeah, it beats me. You're right. It's like a very normal thing at this point. So, but anyway,
nigga, you put me out or give me studio time. Nigga, the fuck? That's not even a fair trade. How much is my rent?
Yeah, no bullshit. No bullshit.
How much is studio time? Damn. Is this the night? Like, is it that hard pressed for studio time? And then for when Kanan said, man, I got a couple $100 for you. I'm assuming that's all studio time would cost.
Or his rent.
No, but that's what I mean. But when he said, no, I need more than that, is studio time like $1,000? What the hell is going on here?
Famous need his fix. That's what it is. He gotta get out there. Yeah,
because we're in New York in the 90s and they live in the projects. I'm assuming them Jones was like $200 a month, $300 a month. Like it can't be that much, man.
Makes no sense.
Shit.
But go back to the studio. We got Lou and Cartier. You know, that's where the whole thing where Famous comes in, let him know what the deal is with it, and he's just like, you know, and Cartier's right, you know, you either can give somebody a fish or teach them how to fish, and they can feed themselves and feed their village, you know. So like, you know, he didn't say that wasn't true, but like, yeah, because he flexed his muscle, Lou is looking like, I thought you was a silent partner. Why are you up here making my decisions? You know what I mean? Why are you becoming a face in the studio? You know what I mean? And all that was Issa, and she's just there. She doesn't care about any of that. I am interested that I am surprised that interested enough that she didn't have any say about like him being there in the way he was, because she seems to be a little bit more. She's definitely more pro Lou, but she seems to be a little bit more outspoken about things now. Now she got her celebrity. Now that Lou done did his thing with Crown, she's trying to, again, she's pulling the Holly, but she didn't do the Holly in this one. She kind of did sit on the sideline, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's gonna say something to Rock soon. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and we need Zeus's music to hit eventually, because she up there with these Carrie Hilson ass songs. I don't know what the fuck going on here, Joe. Like, I'm pretty like these ain't it. Like this ain't it. This ain't it. I need you to get a hit or something, because these shows just ain't working, man. I don't know what the hell she putting out.
For real. We get Rock and Juke in the kitchen. Juke doing the dishes, comes in, and Rock is like, hey, Marvin told me what happened and everything with your mother and all that. And, they had the conversation that I thought needed to be had, where we do pretty much put on the table what is it that Juke is looking for. And Juke, we're all looking for love. We all want to be loved. And, Juke called it what it was. She wasn't there before, and means we know different. She isn't there now. But what is interesting about this is Rock asking if Kanan had asked about her, and I was thinking to myself, like, where have I heard that before? Oh, that's what, like, the same thing Marvin did when he asked Lou about Juke. So this shows you, interestingly enough, how the tables have kind of turned for these mother-son, father-daughter relationship that's kind of still all under the whole household, even though it's two different houses, but whatever. But it is telling you about the perspective, because this scene makes the scene that we know we get each and every episode. We always get that scene of Kanan and Juke. We didn't get inside the room this time, but it does make those conversations so much more relevant, because we see not only just the series ramifications, but we also have that sort of recap in terms of what happened in this episode. And now that Juke is on the other end, where Juke was the one looking for love and looking for answers and looking for a sort of security and safe space, which she has now. She sees Marvin vulnerable, but she knows that he's trying. She's moving around a little bit more different, a little bit more happy. She's able to be herself. She got a lot of clarity in terms of things. Rock didn't come in and preach anything to her. Rock was just kind of like, you know what? Cool. I got you whatever you need to do. Which is, it doesn't seem like it's a big thing, but when you had a woman like your mother, but when you have Rock, who's your mother, comes in, and then you have your mother come in and try to preach a whole nother philosophy, you may have a moment of not trusting women. It doesn't always happen. I mean, guys, when fathers do traumatic things to their kids, that breeds just a timeline of issues and trauma responses, and a lot of people do not come back from it. It's not to say that it can't happen from women or mothers as well too. So that moment that Rock comes in and preaches more of the free will sort of expression to her, where like, you can do what you need to do. I'm here if you ever need me. I never cared how you dress, never cared who you love, da 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 da. I mean, that quickly bounces, that sort of potential trauma that Juke could have, which again, it still just gets so much more interesting, thinking like, damn, what is it that's going to just turn her into a savage? Because it's been a seesaw this entire season. And
it probably already happened.
Oh, for sure. The last scene, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's when it happened. But I think here's just to show that there's still humanity there. That don't mean like it can't flip and be something a heck of a lot worse. But I think it's still that trust in that trust issue is gone. Because even when Marvin was vulnerable, you didn't really see Juke get vulnerable.
Right.
She was still a little uncomfortable around it.
Right. But it was interesting. I mean, later on in the episode where she was able to kind of be that more support for him and what he was feeling and going through, which did a lot for her, but did way more for him. So, but yeah, it was just interesting that the two of them was able to have that conversation and kind of reset their relationship. But also we see that Rock not only was saying verbatim what Kanan said to her was just like, "Oh, anything I do it for you," and Juke was kind of like looking like, got some thinking to do with this one, because now she doesn't know how to kind of feel between the other, which is why she kind of plead the fifth when it comes down to like not siding on anything, but also not really telling what's up with Kanan, kind of just taking it all in until later on in the episode where she, gets to express a little bit more to Kanan. That, as you said, that conversation that really needs
highly
to be
important stuff she was saying. Yeah.
So Kanan and Howard, because of course Howard would be Muslim. Why wouldn't he be?
He's black. He's a male. It's the 90s.
Yeah.
Like everybody was. And then you went to prison. You then became Muslim, and I'm guessing you went to the police academy, or you got shot. Niggas, traumatic shit happens. You go right to Allah. That's the path you're going on to, man. Because white Jesus ain't working at that point. Nah, white Jesus has failed me. That's why I got shot. Go to Allah.
Yep. But then after that, you just go to Buddha, and then that's a wrap. And then,
then you go Tom Cruise. That's those rules. Oh man, yeah. But it did throw me off a little bit that he was Muslim, just because even though as he said, he's trying to get back into it. It's odd. Because it is, but I guess they're trying to show a complete life change for Howard. But still, it kind of threw me off a little bit. I knew the moment I saw the Washington, I knew exactly what was about to happen. I said, "Oh, this is a very interesting take that you're gonna have him be Muslim. Hopefully, it's more than just show some religion with Howard and make it a little different. And hopefully, it's a greater meaning behind that." As we go forward, because I would hate if it's just that one scene and that's all we get.
Speaking of Howard, let's shout out our man Omar Epps real quick. His book right here, Nubia, is available for pre-order, so go check that out. I saw them. I saw Sasha Penn promoting it on his Instagram. But you can catch it on sale in November. Obviously, we got this baby right now. Shout out to our guy.
Why you plugging it? Plug the interview. We
interviewed
the man
about that
about it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure my man signed this too. I'm trying to figure out, where did he sign this at? Where did he sign this at? He might have signed it inside. Yeah, of course he did. There you go.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
yeah. But yeah, check that out. Really good book. We'll probably talk about it a little bit closer to its release. But I think there's got to be more to this, and we're going to kind of see how that plays out. But the biggest thing is that Kanan is doing a lot of reflecting on the past, and and Howard's like, forget all that. We're moving forward. Focus on where we're going, not where we've been. And for whatever reason, I think Kanan questioned that, because I guess he wants him to be more vicious towards Rock. And I'm not sure why.
Because Kanan is mad at Rock for holding this secret from him. But boy, will he be mad if he keep on digging and find out some shit he's not prepared to hear. Because the point that Howard even pointed out, say that wouldn't be fair for me to talk about that, and it wouldn't be fair to your mother for me to talk. And you need to be fair to her. And when he said, but she did, I don't want to talk about the past. I don't think it's just him being shot he don't want to talk about. He don't want to talk about any parts of his past, because then it would have to get into, as Juke pointed out, like, your mom would have been 16. He had to be in his 20s. How did this happen? That's what Howard also does not want to talk about. Yeah. Because, again, what happened if you find out that it wasn't consensual between them two?
Yeah.
What happened if you there's no telling what you can find out? Yeah. And that's why I think Howard doesn't want to have that conversation, because then if I go in the past, we got to talk about everything.
Yeah. No, that's true. So Rock got Tremont's guy free, Mr. Drew. We all knew this was happening. She starts to set it up last episode, but Cartier couldn't do it, so Rock did. And then Trayvon said, listen, there's no agreement until Cartier is handled. And so, well, we already talked about the other implications of Cartier's death. Here it is. Now you got the expansion going on with Tremont. You got Mr. Drew. And they both already established that, listen, she might be more colder than Cartier. Like, her blood might be more colder. And listen, this now opens up, we'll just use it because this is sort of the ramifications of it, but like this opens up more ports. You got Baltimore, you got DC, you got soldiers. Dude went in for a gun, so he was strapped. So she they worrying about the numbers against the Italians, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But obviously you're not gonna. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. But like, hey, this is the reinforcement that she need. As she said, we got folks coming from Syracuse and all these other places coming, but having a group of folks here, security, as we also seen as well. Good. So Rock is making some good strides here, and this was a good move, a good show of power, but also a good show of loyalty. Anytime you get anybody out of jail, they definitely gonna fuck with you. That's his bottom line.
Hey, you on my team now, moving forward. Yeah. Like, I showed you mercy when I didn't have to, because I could have left your ass in there. You ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
but
Famous.
When she made that move, like, hey, we here.
Yeah, because she left Famous ass right in jail.
And she knew Famous since he was a baby. That's fucked up, Joe. But she said that little nigga ain't got nothing to do with us. Yeah. But here, again, it's a business move. Rock is, if Rock ain't anything, she is extremely business savvy and smart. She knew it was a play to be made. She understood, I need to get you on my side, because now that I get the DMV with you all and move my drugs multiple places. It ain't just about building against the Italians. That is what it is. Yeah. But this is an complete expansion of business, which I need more than anything.
And no matter how much of this we cover, we just have to say that she claims all of Cartier's stake, and he was the head guy. Let's make it very clear that Tremont said that dude is a angry dude that literally doesn't care who or what he must do to get what he want, and everybody can be a casualty behind it. I mean, call it what you want. I mean, obviously we've seen his true colors, but call it what you want. Folks feared him. So if you find out the top guy's gone because a woman came through, and to like also make it very clear that a woman came through.
Someone would test her, and then you just gotta die. That's normally the way it works.
Or maybe they don't test her because they say, oh well, Cartier's gone then.
And we know who did it, because she basically told us what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So again, it's going to be an interesting dynamic there.
Do you know what I just realized?
Uh-oh.
This is something that the Power fans, somebody gonna get it on the Facebook group in like a couple of days after the episode drop. Do you realize that we're getting ready to go back into classic Power? My man, now dead, what happens to his penthouse? Do you think they're gonna? Do you see Rockin' and moving straight up on that joint, having their own? And they love those sets. They love those sets, regardless of these characters and eras. They love
that movie to that damn penthouse, Joe. I don't want to see another penthouse. If it ain't Ghost Penthouse, I'm not interested.
Listen,
I'm just not interested.
Also, I always thought that Tommy's was better. Always did.
Tommy's was more strategic.
The more rustic look. I don't know. I always
but that Ghost show. I need that apartment when I grow up. Like, that's the show I want right there, Joe. Granted, I don't want everybody just to be able to walk in that motherfucker like they was. It Ghost's Joe, but that Joe is something I would want.
Yeah.
But again, it does set up a very interesting dynamic now that she does have all his property, all of his holdings too. Everything that Cartier had is now Rock's. So again, I may have tripled my worth by taking this dude out.
Yeah.
And everyone knows I took him out.
She's going to talk about this to Marvin because Lou knows. But when Marvin comes around, he's going to know. Also makes it potentially interesting that maybe Unique may have a spot now, Nothing Unique can do to compete with her at this point. And like the thing about it, and to also get perspective, is that Unique doesn't want to leave the South Side. That's what it is. But
Unique
Sal
got other
also
problems on his hand now.
oh, for sure. But Sal said it too, like, hey, yeah, we we got our shit. But that's a whole nother beast over on the South Side. We can't just walk through there and walk through the door. We need to know who's behind the door. We need to know soldiers. We need to know artillery. So understand that Rock is feared even before this move. And now it's got to be wild. But yeah, if they start showing Sat on the penthouse, that's gonna be dope. It's classic power. Let's get through the rest of these names. We got Sam and Burke, because again, crackheads have some good memories. That's what the cop said in the hallway. That is a lie, because I have never heard of a crackhead having good memories. Otherwise, wouldn't it be credible? But the narrative is completely opposite. They're not credible because they don't have good memories.
Even if they had good memories, who's going to believe them? You're crackhead. I don't give a fuck how good your memory is. That would be the last thing I would be concerned about.
Yeah.
You're not believable. You smoke crack. Damn it. Like, stop acting like this shit is normal.
Listen.
Burke is... Oh, gosh, she's irritating me with this.
They call Burke an idiot straight up. They was just like, she's an idiot. I really like
it's the obsessive nature of it all, Joe. She's super obsessed with amazingly. You're no longer obsessed with trying to find out who shot Howard. You are obsessed with taking Howard down. Yeah. Because why would you care who shot him if he don't care at this point?
She was getting laid.
What's the point?
She was getting laid and she rolls over.
And rolled over.
And said, so what should I do next about Howard? The girlfriend was looking like, what? Swear to God, if some chick said some shit like that to me, I'm like, oh hell nah. Like,
get the fuck out of my bed, Joe.
Talk about. Anywho,
you better be talking about OJ Howard and your fantasy team.
Hey, go ahead.
You better be a detective. Come on, son. And even she's like, you need to leave this alone. How many people can tell her you need to leave this alone?
I mean,
Burke realizes that maybe it's not something I should be doing anymore.
Yeah, that list is pretty lengthy too. She got to be getting close to double digits on how many people told her to leave this alone.
Same amount of people that was telling Greg Knox to leave Ghost alone. And definitely not remotely close to the amount of people that told Sax leave him alone.
Yeah,
Sax was told by everybody.
Everybody. His own workers, internal affairs, fucking the government,
four bosses.
Yeah, everyone.
The Democratic National Convention. Everybody told him to leave it alone. He still
yeah. His whole family, go to dinner. Like, Nancy, stop going after that guy. Can't even don't care. He got to give him a St. Patrick.
Depending on what happens in episode 10, Burke might move up to number 2. If she's still going after Howard, and if she get just 2 more people to say it, she's number 2 in the most obsessed cops in the Power universe, because it's ridiculous at this point.
Marvin and Jupiter, they're at dinner, or they're at getting lunch, diner or whatnot, whatever. And he comes clean about just all the emotions he's having, talking about he's really fucked up, he's hurting, and he's not joking this time, and he confides in Juke, and Juke is there for him, and just saying, you can't do no good for me. You got to do good for yourself first before you can do for anyone else. And I think, like, I don't want to elaborate too much on this scene for time's sake, but like, this is a lot of just them building their relationship. Both of them, their expectations, everything, they're starting at ground zero. They both crumble and are at their starting point. And so now they're kind of reconstructing through all of the fire, all of the everything they've been through to do something together. And it's a beautiful thing. So it's a really nice touch to this story arc to kind of see them both get to the point of vulnerability and willingness to move forward together to this point. So let's see. So Cartier and Rock, this was happening next. We already talked a lot about it, but Rock basically saying, you doing all this for some the fuck? He's like, I don't pay the fuck, but he wanted to buy into our operation. All that bullshit. Anywho, Sal and Unique Now, Unique is A1. He don't care who in front of him. He gonna always say what's the truth is. And it's not much of his dialogue that I be like, okay, he's definitely bullshitting. But like again, he is here saying, listen, I don't fuck with that Marvin guy, my Marvin Thomas guy. But I gotta call it for what it is. This ain't his fault.
Fucked up.
Your boy Marco fucked up, and he said, "Well, he should have came to me." And much like you, everything you said was everything about this you said last week. Obviously, now being retold through Unique's mouth. He said, "Listen, he said he didn't have to go through you," and then he was like, "That's not how we do things around here." I thought he was going to rebuttal by saying, "But this is how things are on the street." But however, it doesn't matter because he said, "Listen." However he said it, but like, you know,
I don't want to be in between y'all bullshit. This ain't got nothing to do with me. Like when he brought up how Unique brought him in that other situation, he said that was business.
Business, yeah.
Basically, it's the difference between being business and personal.
Yeah,
you can't turn business into personal problems. That's your shit. Deal with it.
Yeah, don't bring me into this beef. Nothing to do with me.
It's weird. We see Sal at times be this hardcore gangster who immediately puts a hit out on Marvin the moment all of that happened with Rock and he didn't like what she said. And yet he lets Unique just walk out of his house.
Well, there still is like respect.
Fuck respect. Respect went out the window the moment you basically said, fuck your son dying. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And he said,
what difference is it
that vouch for you? So that means it's weird. Once the person who vouched for you is gone, what makes you think I have any loyalty to you? That's out the window now.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Because I feel you. That's what we would do, and that's what we're seeing in the story about like what we consider to be the law of the streets outside of what the Italians think are the law of the streets. And I think it's the reverse opposite way.
Tony would have killed him on the spot.
That is not arguable. But see, this is the conversation. This is where I want to spend the last few moments of the recap here. Because Rock said something I didn't think about. And I know you brought up the Sopranos, but it's always been something I always thought about. And it's the same thing in Force with the Irish. You doing all this bullshit in Chicago, you better not let Dublin find out, because when Dublin find out, it's gonna be all hell on earth once they get here. To me, it's the same thing where I'm thinking that these decisions that Sal is making, how he's going about things, how he's getting roughed up by this queen and queens. When those New York Italians find out, what is that going to do for you all in New Jersey? And that's where I'm starting to see this go, is that now we're starting to see Sal, who never had to answer to anybody, who had everything on lock, that is running this loyalty program that doesn't make sense. And that's the first thing they're going to say is, why didn't y'all kill her on the spot? Why didn't you kill Unique on the spot? Why are you tripping about your son dying when we have bigger things to worry about? That's where they're going to get it. Fuck all this passionate feeling shit that you got, this personal vendetta. You're fucking up our whole New Jersey operation.
They're going to wonder, the moment your son died, why didn't you just kill all of them?
Yep.
Or why did you partner with niggas in the first place?
Yeah. Why did you?
That's
ever
the key part. Why did you partner with niggas in the first place?
Yeah.
And it didn't start with your partner with Rock. Why did you listen to this little nigga first?
Yeah.
And then partner with this one? Like, all of that is a no-go. Because even in The Sopranos, Tony was a boss. There were people above him. Hey, and he understood that. But yet and still, you're not going to talk to anyone who's supposed to be any form of a boss the way Unique talked to him. Hell, the way Rock talked to him. Yeah, killed both of them on the spot. What makes you think you walking out of here alive?
That's what I'm saying. Unique didn't say that we ain't already heard.
Yeah, but it just shows just how soft Saul is.
I wouldn't say he's soft.
We can't. No, it's soft. I
don't think he's ever been challenged, And now I think like he's tucking his tail between his legs here, but I also think like he's in a position where he didn't know. Like even like I keep it 100. The scene where Rock kind of one-upped him and he kind of flirted back like, oh, that's one tough bitch, you know? I'm like, we said it was flirting, but I started to think about it. I was like, I think my man smoothed over some embarrassment here. Like he tried to like, yeah, it's all good, folks. Like she's not doing that, and like one of those type of things. Where instead, it's like he thinks he can walk around with the pack and he gets what he wants until he ran into this person.
That makes you soft.
It does.
As Mike Tyson says, everybody a tough guy till you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Sal got punched twice.
Yeah.
And has not responded yet.
Yeah.
Like the response to Rock, because they had business, I can kind of understand. You're not going as hard at her because you have business with her. There literally is no business with Unique. Because if I kill him, you think Rock is going to care? Rock ain't abandoning nothing for Unique. So I'm not letting you talk to me that way until you think you walking out of here alive. Or even if you walk out alive, you think you're walking with all your limbs?
Yeah.
Like, nah. Put like this. If this was the Flynn's reverse and Unique had to deal with them, you think he'd have walked out of Walter Flynn's house that way? No, sir. No. Even Tommy understood is a certain amount of respect. I still have to show you, even if I'm lying, I still got to show you that respect. Unique basically said, nigga, I don't got to listen to you.
But see,
come on.
But see, the other thing about that, the comparisons here is that Walter has a Paulie and Sal doesn't. No one checks Sal. But even Paulie would say like, hey bro, we not rocking like this. Like, you know.
But you would think that would make you more dangerous. Because there is no one to check you, to make you say, hey, maybe you're going too far. Because if you don't have that person that says you're going too far, again, I hate to use it. I'm always going to go back to The Sopranos. Tony didn't have someone who could tell him he was going too far. And that led Tony to repeatedly go way too far. Because it's not that second in command that he respected enough to say, hey, we don't need to do that. That's a little bit too much.
Or it flips on the other end. Depends on the level, because not having somebody means you remove the accountability here. So like either you can go way too far one way or way too far the other way. It's like, oh, you're being really nice, or you're being like really vindictive.
If you're really nice and your soldiers see that you're really nice, their respect for you falls.
Oh, okay. So now we're getting back to my most important thing that I want to ask you, and I don't know where I have it in my notes here, but I was going to ask you. Now that Rock has completely shown a side of power and dominance, you know, having people secured in front of her place where they're just like, well, can't fuck with that. Killed my man earlier, Jimmy earlier. That now gotten Sal, you know, legs tucked between a tail tucked between his legs, don't know what to do. She done did to this point the unthinkable. She done have the Italians ready to flee. It almost feels like they don't know what to do. And not to mention, how do you think they feel about how Sal basically talked about Jimmy, where he was just like, oh, I knew he was going to die at some point. I know in my entire life he was going to die.
But that's the beginning of the end. I think Rock said it best. Like, you know, them New Jersey niggas small ball to them New York niggas. But if you're doing this to them and you know the other ones exist, to them, you're doing it to them also. Because if this was a more powerful or a more brave mob boss, that security there would have meant nothing because you shoot the security up. And every time you see one of them, you kill them in that car right there.
Yeah, I think
them, open fire, shoot that motherfucker up. I don't have to shoot up the house. I'll just shoot up the car where your security is. If I kill enough of them, no one will protect you.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing that I think now. This is where the show gets interesting. Because if New Jersey's eliminated and Rock claims territory in Queens, then there's going to be no war in New York. Because the one thing that's worse than beef is the heat. And if everybody says these are my lines and these are your lines and that's what it's going to be, then that's probably what it's going to be. They're going to end up the Italians.
No, they wouldn't. They could give a fuck what black people think.
But see, remember in Power though, that's how it was. Remember where it's like, oh, James and y'all got that, and Tommy tried to come out somewhere else, and it was just like, and they sent Tommy packing. Just go back on your side. We own this side. Y'all own this side. Same thing in Chicago, you know. I'm not.
I would say it depends how heavy they are going to lean into this being the late 80s we're in now, early 90s.
That's my point. Yep, that's my point.
So it depends on how far they're going to lean into that, because anyone who knows anything about the Italian mob in the early 90s, if you think they cared about people and lives, they did not. Yeah. They would kill you and your entire family if it meant that we need to get a foothold on something.
And I think
it just depends.
And I think they won't go that route, because I think they want to focus more on the character. Because if they go that route, then it's a war. There is nothing to talk about.
It's an all-out war. Or it's either an all-out war, or it's them putting Sal in his place. Because at this point, Sal has made mistakes.
Sal ain't making it to season 3.
Yes, he made mistakes by partnering with Unique. So at that point, they're not going to blame Rock for necessarily responding to him. Yeah. They're just going to kill him because you made these mistakes.
That's what I'm saying.
We have no issues with them running Queen. We don't need to start a war with them over that.
That's exactly.
But what we're going to start a war with is if she don't understand, this is it. It wouldn't be Rock telling them this is it. It'd be them saying, no.
That's it.
Yes, you can have this. If you move a step past that, it's going to be a problem.
But see, that's also what Rock was saying at the bowling alley before, where it's like, this is business. You killed the family because they didn't handle business correctly. The New Yorker Times going to say, yeah, okay, well, here it is. That's done. Business. You stay there, I stay there. That's the business going forward. That's what it should have been with them in the first place. Instead of the Tires trying to look for reason to retaliate, saying, hey, that's some business that they did. It got fucked up. That's it. Your loss ain't my loss, and vice versa. Let's keep doing what we got to do. But no, Sal wanted to make it personal, wanted to put his emotions in everything. And ultimately, if it ain't stupidly. Oh, for sure. And if it ain't the Thomas's crew, I'm surprised they don't have a name yet. They're gonna be, hey bro, you know what they're gonna be called? You're gonna hate this. You're gonna hate this. What about they start calling themselves the Rock Boys? It writes itself. It fucking writes itself. 50 ain't gonna have that though. He ain't gonna have that. 50 ain't gonna have that. The Rock Boys in the building tonight.
Hey. Yeah, nah.
Hey,
we're not naming them the Rock Boys.
The Rock Boys in the building tonight. Now, let me go over the last few things real quick, but it is going to be interesting. I do not have Sal making it outside of season 2. And if it ain't the Rock Boys killing them, the New York, and actually, it do make sense that it's the New York Italians that do it, because we need a threat going into next season. That's just it. Otherwise, what do we care about next season? We're not going another season.
You see them as a threat? I don't see them wanting to make the New York Italians the threat.
But no. You don't make them a threat. You do like they do every single season of Power. They introduce Unique, and you thought, oh, Unique is it, but it actually ain't Unique. It's always somebody on the opposite end. So who is it? It ain't the Italians, but it's that third territory. Who else is in another bureaus that's trying to get into play? Who's trying to start war amongst everything? It's the same setup as Chicago, where you're like,
who run in Brooklyn?
Yeah, like. And that's the thing.
Bronx.
You say like, and that's the thing. You like, just like on Force, you say like, oh, it's going to be the Irish versus Tommy or the Diamond in them, or is it somebody else that's trying to come in, or how does this all line up? That's how I think they're going to play. But anyway,
solid family turmoil. You never know,
because you can always use that.
A drug unto itself.
Always going to be blanketed under everything. So. But yeah, for the last few things, we had the Solid and Unique talk. Kanan and Famous here, Famous is living bad, trying to figure out some money and stuff like that. Kanan's staying over Famous' place. Kanan goes to sleep. Famous goes next door. Everybody thought that he was going to go try to get them cheeks from Corinne's mother. Nah, but he goes and get the strap, because this was after the idea of him seeing how Freddie was treated inside of the restaurant. And Kanan made it very clear that he the man, and Freddie and Freddie out here grinding. So Freddie always gonna have money as long as he keep grinding. For whatever reason, Famous broke.
Not grinding.
Yeah, not grinding.
Not grinding.
Yeah,
grimy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a completely different dude.
Wait,
grimy dude.
But
he said grimy.
Grimy.
Yeah, that is not grinding. Grimy means, you're a nigga that will stick up people. You do whatever you got to do to get money in your pocket.
Is that what he said?
You don't want to be a nigga like that. Yeah, he told Famous, you don't want to be that. Not grinding. You want to grind.
I thought he said it was grinding.
You don't want. No, he said grimy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't want to be a grimy dude. Not at all, Joe.
Okay.
That's a nigga who stick up anybody in the streets to get what you need.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And that's clearly that's what he did. He did it to Kanan.
and so Famous goes and tries to go do the same thing. And we talked about this over and over. If you're gonna pull a gun on somebody, you better use it. And so we see Freddie with the strap, and then Famous takes 3 shots and runs off. I mean, he was shaking, his name was said multiple times. Famous ain't no killer, but he do got a body. And the neighbor across the street door cracked open because they heard the whole thing. Yep. So there's that. We talked about how Rock viewed we talked about how Rock said the New York Italians would view the New Jersey Italians. Let me see. Juke and Nicole dad, the Detective Burke stuff, and Juke keeps it true over and over. I don't talk to the police, and I did.
Yeah,
and I damn sure don't talk to the police about the police. But she did. But Nicole's dad did say that she'll come around eventually. So we do think that he's going to try and play.
Coming around, you can try and play as much as you want. Juke said it best, Nick. I am basically Juke hit him with the unique. I am not getting involved in y'all personal shit.
Yeah,
because the last thing you want to do is be a nigga who snitched on the police to the police. Like, nah.
Yeah,
but you know what? Mind, everybody trying to get you there.
But you know what, though? We'll talk about it 1 second. So what's going on here? So, so now, yeah, God, we gotta talk about this. Actually, let's talk about the Juke thing real fast. We'll come out to that other part. So I think because of the conversation that Kanan and Juke had, obviously about Rock being 16. Howard being 20 something, and obviously saying, hey, you know about this when it was with you and your girl's mom and whatnot. And basically saying it's the same fucking thing, Kanan, whether you look at it or not, reiterating the same exact thing to what Rock was basically saying, essentially like how this is just wrong, and that's what it is. And that's why she took it personal, because she understands that. And then also there was the comparison about the family dynamics where Kanan isn't sure what's going to happen with him and Rock next, but she said that Marvin is trying. He's trying to get right and whatnot. But what's interesting is that she also told that she knew that Howard went to Nicole's house.
Yeah.
So she knows that Howard has to be the one that kind of staged all of this. Mm-hmm. Now, at what point would she have to basically comply with Nicole's dad to protect Kanan? Because that's what that is. Because if she...
But how would Nicole's dad know to look at Kanan?
No,
like it would have to be some here's coming with Sam and take a lot of shit.
No, but that's the thing. So Burke has Sam, and if Burke can get the statement from Sam, then they can implicate Kanan. But if Juke gives the statement to Internal Affairs by way of Juke's dad, then they can implicate Burke. So all he has to say, like, oh, she picked me up a bunch of times. She's the one who gave me my mom address and all this other stuff. She gave us drugs. There's going to be some stuff like that.
Again, it would just put too much faith in people believing a crackhead.
Oh,
that's the key part. Yeah, that's the key part here. Like,
listen, let the powerisms go. Just let it go.
I can't let it go if they're gonna believe a crackhead.
Just let it go.
No.
Sam is a law-abiding citizen. He's getting ready to change his life, which I guess we should talk about that, because Marvin gets Sam in the car. Now this is funny, and I was gonna make a joke, but it's completely insensitive, and I'll probably just let it go. But yeah, man, it seems like people luring people into their cars with things happens to be like the new very trending thing online right now. So Marvin lures that popular Netflix show. Everybody,
you mean watching. In the 90s? Of course. I mean, but I don't think Marvin was luring Sam in the car for those type of fun activities.
No, but it just showed you just how willing people are for the things they like. It's like, hey, I got these drugs. My man was like, shit, get me in there right now. Say less. I
gotta smoke these first. Like,
fun
that's when I thought that it would be like a lace drug. You have a crackhead.
Yeah.
Dude, we ain't gotta think long and hard about this.
Yeah.
You're a crackhead. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say this because I'm really wondering. He still kept the crack that Marvin gave him. What happened if Marvin knew he was going to get off that bus and just said, I'm just going to lace your crack anyway?
So that, I want to talk about that. Also, by the way, anybody who watches Atlanta, this week's episode of Atlanta is another case of black people being lured in by black people things. It's a scene where Darius and Ern gets lured into this very creepy truck because they're trying to buy some shoes. They're trying to buy these new Nike Miracles, and the dude was like, yeah, I got them joints. Get in the back right now. I'm not going to give the whole episode away, but the motherfuckers got right in that job. Just like, yeah, I guess motherfuckers be desperate as hell to get their shoes, man. And that's, again,
hey, all you got to tell a bunch of niggas, I got it. Hey, man, I got them ones. I got them trophy room ones, man.
I got that PS5, bro.
Man, follow me. I got you, dog. Got you. You see the joint right here, man? Yeah, follow me to this dark warehouse that you can't see out of.
But so Marvin, instead of killing this dude, sets him up to get on the bus and get out of town. And Sam be like, listen, just roll out. I'm trying to be good. This felt like the way to handle this. So just go. And he gave him some money and said, fix yourself. And he says, never too late to get straight. Obviously, he's mirroring a lot of the things that he's going through personally onto this guy, and also channeling everything he's learned from Renee. But of course, because I saw this coming. A crackhead gonna be a crackhead. My man get right back off that.
Be a crackhead. He said, I know giving dope fiend the money and then tell him change his life ain't gonna work. But there's no but there. There's no but. There's just no but there. I can't give you. It's a crackhead. Why would I get? But I think that's why I'm trying to give Marvin the benefit of the doubt, is that the drugs are laced, because there's no way he would have thought, I'm gonna let this dude get on this bus and he's actually just gonna leave because I told him to leave. He's a crackhead. There's no recovering. And Marvin's a former drug addict, so I would think he will understand, like, you don't turn over your life like that. It is what it is. Sam was gonna be Sam. Yeah. So that's why you just lace a little fentanyl or whatever was popular in the 90s to lace it with, LSD, drip it over the crack a little bit, get you high to the point where you never recover from it or something of that nature. I don't have to kill you. I just have to make sure that no one could ever believe you again in life.
Yeah, I'm also just not interested in Sam being a big factor into this final episode. Like, this is still a crackhead.
They have literally set it up for it, and I'm like, he's still a crackhead.
Yeah, and I like the actor. I just didn't think this supporting character would be such a pivotal character in the fate of everything. Like, he can go and be witness for Burke because somehow she'll make it work, or she would absolutely make friction amongst the Rock Boys, because I thought we told you to get rid of this guy and you didn't. And didn't Unique just tell you about this? Unique told you, like, hey, these witnesses out here becomes your biggest issue. Does he get burned?
See a body, he's alive. Like, we literally just happened where
he tried
only got to this mess with Italians because of this.
He tried to put my man in witness protection with Tasha. Just forgot that was a crackhead down. He just forgot it was a crackhead involved. Yeah, we said Tasha. That's right.
Oh, shit.
That's Tasha's dad.
Like trying to... Oh shit, that'd have been like Tommy putting Kate on a bus and saying, "Hey, I'm no give you money." It may not work, but here's
Yep.
money. And Kate would have been like, "Nope, I need to find Jamie. Where's my hit?" Like
Yep.
it's just it makes no sense. And again, we all hope that he's not a huge part of episode 10. I don't care. Hopefully his whatever is laced and he dies at the beginning of episode 10 so we can
Yeah.
move past Sam. Because I don't want to hear about him anymore. Or
Yeah.
Burke's stupidity. Unless it leads to Burke getting fired because they say, "Why are you believing a crackhead? Don't bring me a story from a crackhead."
Yeah. If he
Like,
gets
come on.
arrested again, they're gonna wonder where he got all that money from. Or does he get killed by the crackheads because he got a bunch of money? Or it's a lot of
Marvin and
things.
Burke gave him money. And then Marvin gave him so much crack, he didn't have to spend the money yet to buy new crack.
Yeah.
Is he like
Yep.
5 vials of crack?
Yeah, he
That's
doing
at least
all right,
3
man.
days for him.
He basically hit the lottery. Not a
That
bad day
nigga,
for him, man.
that nigga rich.
Yeah.
That nigga rich. Like now, Joe. He got crack for hours.
Yeah, I tell you what though, Marvin's so good at surveillancing. He better have followed that bus.
Hey,
That's
because that's what I
better
would have
what
done.
would happen. So, but I mean, they can
But
focus
Marvin
on this.
also has a turned life. So maybe, just Marvin's still dealing with trauma. Like
Yeah,
she just died in front of him, and like he's trying to be a positive person.
yeah,
But sometimes we realize we can't be positive all the time. Sometimes you gotta let that other side come out.
yeah,
You gave him a chance. Now you got to kill him.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the end of the episode. The Cartier thing we already talked about extensively in the beginning. Cartier gets shot by Lou and Rock. That brings them back together in the penthouse. The butler at the front of the penthouse called when they were coming up, obviously in compliance with Rock and them, and that's what it is. So we get ready for the finale. We got a lot of
nigga work
things.
for Cartier. He worked for Cartier at first.
Not no more.
Hey,
Not no more.
man.
And listen,
This is why you just don't trust random people.
or you don't treat people shitty, because that also could have been all it was.
Yeah, that could also be it. But
Easily.
I'm a very firm believer in not putting myself in situations where people can be bought and then I pay the price for it. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nigga, man, I'm gonna pay you so well where no one would. You ever seen a doorman make $500,000 a year? Fuck with me if you want to. You don't have enough money to pay him for him to turn on me.
Yep. So yeah, now that the Rock Boys got the penthouse, we just waiting for the first iteration of Truth to be out there, and they need to get the building that. So
Nope. I finally understood now. The penthouse is the beginning of the Queen's Child's Project.
And listen, before there was Truth,
Then Jamie's father owned it.
Before it was Truth, there was Antitrust, the name of the episode. Expect to see that new club being
Don't tell me Cartier, because Jamie's dad was a bad drug dealer, and then he got killed. Is Cartier Jamie's father?
Oh boy. But we're done, folks. We'll see y'all next week. Let us know your predictions as we get ready for the finale episode. All your thoughts, all of the things that we might have missed on this week's episode. Get all of those in the comments below. But so much more content. One more week of this, but we're not stopping. BMF is on the way. I know y'all ready for that.
And that's gonna be the same time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. More
finale
BMF.
week is coming up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So get ready for the double header, because that's what stars do. But yeah, jump in the comments, folks. Let us know your thoughts about everything, and we'll see y'all back next week. Take care.